Hello, hello. And let me just do a little bit of setup here. All right, cool. We are live on TikTok, we're live on YouTube, and what I want to go over, and I need to flip this. Nope, that's not what I need to do. Flip. I need to. There we go. Today, I want to go over why the number one is going to change your life. Something so simple, yet not. So that's what I'm going to talk about today, as well as something that you can do on the side, even if you're over 50, which is what I love, where you can bring in additional income. And you know what? The reality is, there are some of you that don't need what I have to offer, and that's totally cool. And I love that for you. I'm only talking to the people that really need change. They really need to, um, make a change in their life. And if this is not for you, that's totally cool. And I'm super happy for you that you're totally content where you are right now and everything is rocking and rolling. But there are some people out there that have been through a lot of stuff recently, whether it's a layoff or medical bills or paying for kids' college, because I have all three, okay, and more. And today I went into the office today, and I'm exhausted. And the last thing I wanted to do was go on live today. But the reason why I decided to go on live is because I know that there's someone out there that needs this information and that is going to use this information to change their life. Now, why is the number one so important? I'm going to get into that in a second. But obviously, in the meantime, if you have any questions throughout this live stream, feel free to send me a comment, whatever. And if you're coming in, which I see some people on TikTok are coming in and YouTube, let me know where you're coming from. I'm actually in Pennsylvania on the East Coast in the United States. And yeah, so let's get started. How many people went in the office today? How many people went to their jobs today? And it's super cool because I actually enjoy my coworkers. But the reality is, if I had my choice, I'd rather be with my kids and my family than my coworkers. How many people can relate to that? Let me know in the comments. Right? So something drastically happened last year that completely changed my trajectory of life, actually. And that is my husband had a heart attack. And it really opened our eyes up to, like, what are we doing? Right? How many people have woken up, stressed, exhausted, and the day hasn't even begun? And you thought to yourself, what am I doing? Right? And look, I've been working in corporate America for over 30 years. So obviously, I'm not anti job or any of that stuff. But the reality is, if you're a little older, you're in your 50s, 50s, 60s, 70s. We didn't grow up with the internet. We didn't grow up with cell phones. So the thought to a lot of us that we can actually make an income online is so foreign. Let me know in the comments if you ever thought about that. And if you're jumping on, if you have a business, let me know. Or if you are looking to create an additional income stream, let me know that as well. And, I'm going to go over why the number one can literally change your life if you let it. And again, this information isn't for everyone, right? Most people are just going to scroll by. Everything's perfect. Their life is perfect. And that is totally cool. I love that for them. I'm talking to the person that needs a change in their life. I'm talking to the person that is tired of waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning, stressed about money, or stressed about going into the office, or stressed about their job, or paying for their kids' college. There have been so many nights that I used to wake up in the middle of the night in a cold sweat, right? Because it's like, how am I going to be able to pay for all this stuff? And I knew that if I didn't make a change, then things just weren't going to change, right? And just when I was on a good trajectory, I get laid off from my job last year. Put a 1 in the comments if you've ever been laid off. This would be my second time in the last 10 years, and it's not fun. And I have decided to take control of my life, my income, and that's what I want to go over today. So if you are interested in that, uh, let's hang out for a little bit. And of course, along the way, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. But here's the thing, why does the number one, like, what's up? What's up with number one? So, the reason why I have the number one on this board is if you were to make money online, or I should start, if you if you want to make money online, 99% of the time you have to sell something. I don't care what it is. It could be, medicine. It could be whatever. It doesn't matter. You have to sell something. And the reason why the number one is so important is because with what I'm selling, you could just use what I'm selling just as an example. If you're selling something else, then obviously you have your own examples. But this is how life changing the number one can be. Because if you make one sale per week, this can earn you an extra $5,000 a month. Now, I want to ask you, would an extra $5,000 a month change your life, right? See, when I got started in online marketing over 15 years ago, I was selling a $50 product and earning a $15 commission. So in order for me to even make $5,000 a month, and I'm grabbing my calculator because I can't remember the math, I'd have to sell 333 items just to make $5,000 a month. $5,000 a month or an extra 5 grand a month would literally change someone's life, because that's an extra $60,000 a year. How many, would that take care of your rent and your car payment and all that stuff, right? So if you make one sale a week, in my program specifically, you would earn anywhere from 100 to, sorry, I'm trying to make this show on TikTok. You would earn anywhere from $100 all the way up to $1,400 a week. $1,400 a week. Again, that product, that $50 product that I was selling over 15 years ago, I'd have to make 333. Oh my goodness gracious. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to multiply this by 4, right? Because there's 4 weeks in a month. So with the program I'm selling, which is, and I'll get into all this, digital education, you can earn anywhere from $400 all the way up to $5,600 a month just by selling one item every single week. That's it. So 4 sales a month, you can be up to this 56,000. Now that's only the beginning, because here's the thing. We teach you, and obviously this is going to take some time. It's not like this is going to take for, like a month or whatever. But the goal is to get one sale every single day. That's the goal. One $1,400 sale a day equals $511,000 a year. Put a 1 in the comments if you would like to earn this. And you know what? Even if it took you 2 years, would it be worth it? Because here's the thing, and this is what I love. We're not asking you to work an additional 8 hours on top of your 8-hour workday at your job. You can learn the skills to be able to do this in 1 to 2 hours a day. I mean, most of the time it's like 2. Oh, here you go. Sorry, I wasn't even showing it on YouTube. So this is the goal with our program. Hold on, I'm getting something. So if this sounds good to you, and again, what if this happened in the year 2028? Or no, 2027's next year, so a year and a half. So yeah, 2028. If you work every single day, 1 to 2 hours every single day, this is the goal. This is my goal. And with consistency and obviously the right training, I know I will be able to achieve it. And the question is, who's coming with me? Who's ready to make that change? But again, we're not going to see this tomorrow, right? We're not going to see that tomorrow. Let's start off with this. Let's start off with, 1 sale a week. Because again, $5,600 will change a lot of people's lives. Anyway, for those of you that are new here, my name is Kim, 54 years old, mama 5, grandma to 1, and 3 years in college, and layoffs and medical bills and da 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 da. My family's always been the most important to me. And, I'm actually really looking forward to the summer because I have kids in college and they're going to come home and I can't wait to see them. And yeah. And again, I was laid off last year at the age of 53 years old. And, it really dawned on me that, the government, no one's coming to save me. So if I wanted to, I had no choice but to try to save myself. And I know that there are some of you that are watching this right now that you're in the same position. I don't know if you've been laid off or if you had, you may experience a layoff. But the reality is I didn't want to rely on anyone for a paycheck anymore. Because the whole layoff situation just really destroyed me. It does a lot for your self-esteem and obviously financially too, right? And what's so crazy is the YouTube channel that I am streaming on. I actually started it in 2020 during the pandemic, talking to people about how to get paid their unemployment. So it's so funny that everything's like full circle. So what I'm doing and what this whole thing is, it's called digital marketing. And now why digital marketing? And the reason why is because if you were to open up a Starbucks, a Dunkin', any of that stuff, the franchise fees, the headache of hiring the employees, the hours. I think they say like when you actually start like a brick and mortar business, it takes like 5 years before you're even profitable, which is crazy. But here's the thing. I've been trading time for dollars for the last 25, 30 years in corporate America, and I didn't want to do that anymore. But, being in our 50s, 60s, 70s, whatever, that's how we're programmed because we didn't grow up with the internet. We didn't grow up with cell phones. So when you go to your job, if you don't go to your job, you're not going to get paid, right? And I wanted to do something different. I wanted to do what the 20-year-olds were doing. I mean, realistically, right? I did my time in corporate America, and now I'm choosing me. And again, we don't have to live like that anymore, where we have to trade time for money. And I'm not saying quit your job tomorrow by any means, but digital marketing isn't about waiting, it's about building. And it's about building something that we can call our own, something that we can control, something where we can take time off whenever we want. We can dictate how much money we can earn. How many? Let me know in the comments. Let me know in the comments. Sorry, I have to do a little housekeeping here. Let me know in the comments if I forgot what I was going to say. Um, Sorry, just had to block someone. They were not being nice. Um, I hate when they do that because then I totally lose my train of thought. Um, oh, but I wanted to dictate my income. I was tired of my job having to dictate my income, right? And I wanted to grow something where I didn't need to be on my phone 24/7. I wanted something that was simple, especially for, my 50-year-old brain here. Um, and I wanted something that was just simple and I didn't have to dedicate a ton of time to. Because 15 years ago, I used to go to my job, come home, put my kids to bed, and then work my business 4 to 5 hours a night just to make a $15 sale. And I knew that I didn't want to do that anymore. So I was scrolling on TikTok and I saw a live stream just like this, actually. And she said, no DMing friends, no MLM, 100% profit, daily pay. And I asked the question, I was like, whoa, what is this daily pay? And she said, well, when we make a sale, and this is the part that I love. When you make a sale, you get paid the very next day. That money is deposited into your bank account the very next day. So earlier we talked about, you know, $1,400 sale. If you make that sale, that money is going to be direct deposited in your bank account the very next day. So unlike a job, you don't have to wait 2 weeks to get paid. You don't have to wait 30 days to get paid. The next day. How many people would want a $1,400 sale to be directly deposited in their bank account the very next day? And you know what's important to me is, and again, I was heavily involved in affiliate marketing and network marketing 15 years ago. And one thing that I didn't like was the lack of training, because there's nothing worse than for people to get started at something and then feel like they are alone. They feel like they're by themselves. But what I love about this program is it not only has training, it has live interactive training. So if you are struggling on a specific subject or whatever, and if you have questions, there's a place for you to actually ask questions. Oh, and if you want to check out what I am talking about, if you got to go or whatever, just go to newwaytoretire.com and I'll put in your email address and I'll give you all the information. And of course, if you have questions about anything, feel free to reply to the email and I'll answer any questions for you. But here's the thing. What I want to talk about next is passive income, right? And the best way that I can describe this is I went into the office one day. I physically had to go into work and I think it was like 10:55 in the morning. And I had 11 o'clock meeting and I was waiting for the meeting to start, and all of a sudden my phone buzzed. And I look at my phone. I had made a $900 commission while I was at my job. I didn't work my business that day because I was at my job. And that's what's so cool. And this is the definition of passive income. Um, and what's so cool is, you think about Amazon. When you're ready to buy a product, you go to Amazon and you search for it, you add to cart, and you buy it, right? You don't have to call anyone, you don't have to negotiate. You just click buy, and that's it. And that's what's so cool about passive income, because all it is simply income you're able to generate without actually having to be present. And the way that we do that is we use the power of automation. Now, what does that mean? Here's what it means. You create content. It could be on any social media site that you want, TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, doesn't matter. And when you create your content, the social media site is actually pushing that content out to you or out to the internet, right? And I almost think about it as digital real estate, because what it's doing, it's pushing your content out to people even when you're not working. And it's just like you all are watching me live right now. And it's not because I invited you. It's not because I cold DM'd you. It's because the social media is pushing my content out to you. And that's what I love about this, because this automated system that we have works when you're busy living your life. So even if you're busy, or maybe you're with your family, or even if your life is already full, this can still work for you 24/7. So 3 things that you need to build your very own digital business, if that's something that you are interested in, is number 1, you need a product or program that solves a real problem. And the more problems that you solve, the more money that you will make. Time, money, knowledge, they're all problems that a lot of people have. And if you're just joining, we're talking about, if you were to make 1 sale a week, you can earn anywhere from $100 to $1,400, and just 4 sales a month could equal $5,600. And if that's something that interests you, you want to learn how to do, even if you're old and you're in your 50s like me, if you're on YouTube, click on the link in the description below, or you can take a snapshot of this. Totally, totally cool. So step number 2 is, you have to, if you're selling something, you have to sell it to your audience. You have to find an audience on social media. Let me just take a step back, because when a lot of people think about a side hustle, they think, oh, monthly expenses, how much money is it going to cost me to run? What we have here costs $0 to run every single month. And which is the number 1 reason why we choose social media to do our marketing on it, because it's free. So we teach you how to find your audience and how to, I don't want to say how to introduce what you're selling to your audience. And for me personally, like, my ideal audience person is someone that's been in corporate America for 25, 30 years. and they want to retire one day. And their current job just isn't allowing them to be able to do so in a timely manner. And then step number 3 is you want to have your automation taken care of, because honestly, that is the secret sauce. Automation is what allows you to not have to chase people, because you have a system that's super simple to set up. Your system does the educating, does the selling, it does the follow-up. And here's the thing, when I was doing all this 15 years ago, I had to manually direct message people to follow up with them, or I would be on the phone with them. And how many people really want to call people? I knew that that was something I did not want to do. So again, let's talk about the math, right? Without the hype, just want to be realistic. But one customer equals $1,400. And again, you don't need thousands of customers. Like again, if I wanted to make $5,000 a month 15 years ago, I would have had to have sold 333, or I would have had to had 333 customers just to make $5,000. 2026, we only need 4. You want $10,000 a month? You only need 8 customers. That's it. 2 customers a week to make $10,000. And what's cool is you do this without having to be burned out, without something that's burning you out, or you having to work an extra 4 to 5 hours a day. Just 1 to 2 hours a day. And that's it. Of consistent. You have to be consistent. And that's what I know me personally, I struggle with. But that's what the process is simple. What's hard is not having, or the hard part is allowing your personal life to interfere with your side hustle. At least I know that's it. That's it for me. This program is so super simple. And if you can be consistent, you can make this work for you. These $1,400 days are realistic. You just have to be consistent. You have to work this every single day. Well, maybe not every single day, but at least Monday through Friday. Maybe you take weekends off. Oh, thank you for liking the live. I appreciate that. And what's super cool is you don't have to have tech. My biggest thing was I didn't want to have to build websites. I didn't want to have to build any of this stuff. So it doesn't require you to have to be tech savvy, because again, we walk you through how to set everything up so that you are branding you, and you don't have to learn coding. These are pre-built systems, and they're proven. They're proven to convert. All you have to do is plug in your email, plug in your payment gateway, which means so you can get paid when you make a sale. And again, you brand it as you, and you can literally have this set up in a weekend. And, here's the thing that, especially last year after my husband's heart attack, my biggest thing was if I didn't do anything, I was going to be in the same position 5 years from now. And, even take it a step further, if I did nothing even in the next 3 months, I'd still be in the same position 3 months from now. And those 3 months are going to pass by anyway. And they are going to go fast. Something my dad always said was, the older you get, the faster time flies. And that could not be further from the truth. Right? So the next 90 days, the next 60 days, the next year, 5 years is going to pass by. And if you are going to be on your phone anyway, scrolling through social media, why not spend at least an hour or two every single day creating an income for yourself and your family? Because again, even worst case scenario, even if you just make $100 4 times a month, that's $400 a month. And that's just the beginning. You want to make more? You have that choice. And that's what I love. Because you know what? There are people that, this is fine for them. $400 a month? Are you kidding? That would change their life. But then there are others that are looking for this $1,400. $1,400 a week they want to earn to give them the $5,600 a month. And then there are those that want to earn the $1,400 every single day. Now, obviously, it's going to take some time, right? It's not going to happen tomorrow. But it is happening for people in our community. And $1,400 every single day for a year is $511,000 for the year. So if you want to screenshot that, feel free. Definitely visit newwaytoretire.com to get all the details. Just put in your email address. You'll be sent all the emails. But that's the thing. I didn't want my life to be the same. And I knew the next 90 days were going to pass anyway. So when I saw that live stream where she said, no MLM, daily pay, 100% profit. So I don't know if I mentioned this yet, but when you make a sale, you earn 100% of that sale. You're not sharing your commissions with an upline or company or anything like that. It's all yours, which I think is pretty cool. So let me know. Hold on 1 second. Okay. So let me know if there are any questions. I'm trying to see if there is anything I wanted to go over. But I think that is pretty much it. Thank you, everyone, for hanging out with me. Let me know if you have any questions. If you're on YouTube, click on the link in the description. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments. And I will see YouTube later.